There's a trick that the gaming industry has been running on you and me, and it still works. Every single time. They take a name you love, one tied to real memories, a franchise you grew up with, a number you think is the next chapter of that franchise, and they put it on something completely different. Same logo, different soul, and when you complain, they say you're being nostalgic. They say you don't want games to evolve. They say you're the problem. No. The problem is that they wore your franchise like a costume, and you paid for it. I'm the Broken Dream Mech. Let's get into it. What does legacy actually mean? When a game gets a sequel, something is assumed. It's not complicated. It's not unreasonable. You buy the first one with some idea of what you're getting. The ads, the trailers, the word of mouth. But it's not the same as knowing. You go in open-minded. You find out. Maybe you love it, maybe you don't. So you buy the second one, and now the expectations are different. Earned. Built from experience. Because the first one showed you what the series is. That's how legacy works. It's a contract between the developer and the player. We built something. You trusted it. We'll keep building in that direction. Saints Row is a perfect example. The first game, gritty, grounded, a real GTA clone, a street-level open world, a gang simulator. The second, more of that, better, more confident. People love those two games. Then Saints Row 3 changed the tone completely. More over the top, more comedic, more absurd. I personally liked it, but I know a lot of people who didn't. And they weren't wrong, because 3 made a choice. It subverted the expectation. And when you do that, you better do it right. The question isn't whether games can change. The question is, who made that change? And do they even understand what they're changing? Here's what actually happens now. A franchise gets successful. The people who built it, the leads, the designers, the writers, the ones who understood why it worked, they leave. They quit. They get pushed out. Or the studio gets acquired. And then a new team sits down. They look at the name. They look at the sales numbers. And they think, we can do this. They can't. Not because they're bad developers. Well, sometimes a little bit. There's a reason Unreal Engine slop is everywhere. But that's not the core problem. The core problem is they don't carry the original vision. They only carry the brand. And that brand becomes a skin suit. A costume made out of the old franchise. Put it on, use the logo, use the character names, sell it to fans who remember the real thing. And when it fails, when fans reject it, the company acts confused. We don't understand. It's the same franchise they loved. No, it isn't. Here's what the good ones understood. Legacy is not a franchise name. Legacy is a standard of craft. And when a studio carries that standard, it travels with them across every game they make, no matter how different those games are. FromSoftware, Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring, Armored Core 6, completely different games, different worlds, different mechanics, different tones, but the DNA is always there. The care for world building, the respect for the player, the refusal to hold your hand. You feel it from the first hour, every single time. Naughty Dog, Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, Uncharted, The Last of Us, a platformer, a cartoon adventure, a blockbuster action series, one of the most emotionally brutal games ever made. Completely different. Same standard, same level of craft. You always knew what a Naughty Dog game was, not because it had the same characters, but because it had the same commitment. Insomniac games, Spyro the Dragon, Ratchet and Clank, Spider-Man. 3 genres, 3 totally different audiences. One consistent thread. They always delivered. Even old EA, and I know that sounds like fiction now, had a real portfolio. The Sims, Need for Speed, Medal of Honor, Burnout, SSX. Different studios, different visions, different games, all under one roof, all held to a standard. That was the industry at its best. A publisher or studio didn't need to put the same name on every box. The name meant something, because the quality was consistent. That standard is what's been lost, and what replaced it is the skin suit. Let's name names. Halo, Bungie built it. Bungie left in 2010. 343 Industries took the name. Halo 5 was critically divisive. Halo Infinite launched with missing features and a live service shell. The Halo name still sells. The Halo experience is gone. And here's the detail that says everything. 343 Industries changed their name in 2024. They're now called Halo Studios. Same people, new logo. The custom got a fresh label. Dragon Age, BioWare built a legacy over 3 games. Then the leads left. The writers left. The studio hemorrhaged talent. Dragon Age. The Vilgard launched in 2024. It bombed. Not because Dragon Age can't work, because the people who knew what Dragon Age was weren't there anymore. Saints Row, the reboot, 2022. Volition tried to reset the franchise from scratch. New city, new characters, new tone. Fans hated it. The game failed commercially. Embracer Group shut Volition down entirely in 2023, a studio that existed since 1996. Gone. Because the new team thought the name was enough. Splinter Cell. The original creative director, Clint Hawking, left Ubisoft in 2008. That's 17 years ago. Ubisoft has been teasing a revival ever since. When that game comes out, and it will, the name Sam Fisher is being used to sell you something the people who built Sam Fisher had no part in creating. This is not evolution. This is exploitation. There's one more case I'm not calling yet, but I'm watching closely. Rockstar and GTA 6. People like to say, just Dan Houser left. It wasn't just Dan Houser. Let me give you the actual list. Leslie Benzies, president of Rockstar North, lead producer on GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4, GTA 5. The man who built the production infrastructure behind every major GTA. He left in 2016, forced out after an internal dispute. He then sued Take-Two Interactive for approximately $150 million in unpaid royalties. Dan Houser, co-founder, lead writer, the voice behind GTA's satire, its characters, its tone. 22 years at the company, left in March 2020. Laszlo Jones, writer and radio producer. 19 years building the in-game world. The radio stations, the DJ personalities, the satirical ads that made the GTA universe feel alive. Left in 2020. Same window as Dan. The VP of writing on Red Dead Redemption left in 2023 after 16 years. That's not one person leaving. That is the creative architecture of Rockstar. Walking out the door over 7 years. And behind all of it, a culture that drove them out. In 2018, Kotaku published an investigation into Rockstar's crunch culture. Dan Houser himself said the team worked 100-hour weeks to finish Red Dead Redemption 2. Mandatory overtime, developers burning out, their spouses went public about never seeing them. This is a studio that consumed its own talent to make the games that made it famous. Now GTA 6 is coming, with a new leadership structure, a workforce that has been fighting for union rights and got 30 of its members fired in 2025 for organizing, and a creative core that no longer includes the people who defined what Rockstar was. I'm not calling it a failure. GTA 6 might be extraordinary. Rockstar has earned that patience. But the question is no longer just, did Dan Houser leave? The question is, after everything that left, is there enough left to matter? Watch it. Why do they keep doing this? Because it's cheaper than building something new. A new IP has no name recognition, no guaranteed audience, no marketing shortcut. A legacy franchise has all of that built in. You don't have to earn the audience, you inherit it. And it works, in the short term. EA tried it once with Mirror's Edge. Critically acclaimed, not a blockbuster by EA standards. They sidelined the team, sat on the franchise for 8 years, released Mirror's Edge Catalyst in 2016. Numbers still weren't high enough. Dead. Gone. Never touched again. That's what happens when the only metric is opening week. Fans buy the first entry out of loyalty. They want to believe, they want it to be good. That initial sales number looks fine on a spreadsheet, and then the reviews come in, and then the second week numbers collapse, and then the refund requests pile up. But by then, the executives already got their bonuses. The franchise takes the reputation hit. The suits take the money and move on. This is not a mistake. This is a business model. But here's what they're missing. Gamers are not resistant to change. When a studio they trust takes a risk, fans follow. Armored Core 6. FromSoftware's mech franchise had been dead for nearly a decade. 2.8 million copies in the first week. Not because it was familiar, because fans trusted the studio. I'll tell you from personal experience. I bought Armored Core 6 because it said FromSoftware. I had never played Armored Core, never touched the franchise. Now I'm a fan, I want more. That's what trust does. That trust is what these companies are burning every time they put on the costume. You don't need the old name, you need to make something great. The audience will find it. The companies hiding behind legacy names already know they've lost the thing that mattered. The costume is an admission. Stop buying the name. I'm serious. The name is not the game. The logo is not the team. The number on the box tells you nothing about whether the people who made the original are still involved. Before you pre-order, ask, who is making this? Are any of the original leads still attached? What did the studio make before? These are not hard questions, but they are questions that cost publishers money when you ask them. Because when you wait, when you watch, when you don't pre-order, they can't coast on legacy. They have to earn it. Legacy is not the name. It's the people, the vision, the craft, the accumulated decisions made by developers who cared about what they were building. Naughty Dog didn't need Crash Bandicoot's name on Uncharted. FromSoftware didn't need Dark Souls' name on Elden Ring. The work spoke for itself. When the people leave, the legacy leaves with them. What's left is a costume, and they will sell it to you at full price. Don't buy the costume, ask who made it. Wait for someone who built the real thing. Subscribe if you want someone to keep saying this out loud. I'm the Broken DreamX. Don't forget, be righteous and stay passionate.